you are retired, Greg. Congratulations.
Is it?
We enjoyed a bit of an afternoon yesterday where normally you couldn't say yes to the invite that I gave you to go golfing, right? You were like, well, I've got to train. I've got to be back. I've got all these obligations. Has it sunk in? Like you are
definitely sunk in.
Retired from at least World Cup level competition.
Yeah. No, it's definitely sunk in. I've put in a lot of weight in the 2 months that I've had off. And I need to start losing weight again. And I had a great chat with your wife last night because she said you went through the same thing. And so on Tuesday, I went for a gravel ride. I just bought this new Norco gravel bike, and it was so cool. I went out for a ride. I got a bit excited, which, you know, to go back on another training route isn't ideal, but I felt like I needed to burn some calories. So I went out for 2.5 hours. And then my wife had booked paddle in the afternoon. So I played 2 hours of paddle. And then I took my niece and my wife to go for a trail run in the evening, a little 5K trail run, Tuesday trail run. So I'm definitely trying to exercise it all off. But then I come down to you and it's like this. I mean, who goes and plays a round of golf and at the halfway turnaround you have a Red Bull vodka? I mean, I've never heard of this.
Apparently it was a tradition, we were told.
A great tradition. So, I mean, it's definitely been a great off season so far, but I've enjoyed it. It's, you know, a lot of people have asked, well, how does it feel? And it's, I've spent my whole life rushing and like looking so far down the line, like this would be my time to relax. So it's like, I've got to relax. Everything's got to relax and like try and, you know, I know I've got 2 months of it or whatever, 1 month. And I know I need to start training in December 1. And so I'm always on these timelines. And now I've got back and my whole body's just relaxed going, I don't have to train if I don't want to. I don't have to go and ride 2 hours of gravel if I don't want to. And it was a weird experience because it's, you know, I got injured in the first race, separated my shoulder, and it hasn't really looked too bad, but literally like 10 days after Montanan, my shoulder dropped another centimeter. And it's just felt like my whole body is just relaxed, but everything's kind of relaxed. My whole stomach's just hanging out there. Like with this dad bod with, I'm not your dad. But it's been refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've been at it since you were, you know, mid-teens. Like you said, you switch off, but you're always chasing that training's coming up. Like, okay, I need to relax. I'm going to relax as good as I can. Like, and we know you're famous for that, right? And part of me thinks that is why you went so long, because you were good at relaxing. You were good at hanging out with your mates, riding motocross, surfing, and like not riding your downhill bike. Do you think that was a secret to some of your longevity, the way you were able to switch off?
You know, I bumped into some riders and they were testing. So that was beginning of November. They were testing riding downhill. I wouldn't touch a downhill bike till at least January, February. And partly because, you know, I'd go back to Pietermaritzburg. It's out, you know, in the off season. And that's where I was born and raised. And it's too wet to ride downhill. It's like a clay. So you can't actually get to the top of the downhill. There's no way to get to the top. So you can't ride downhill. And so I go ride motocross and, you know, hang out, go surfing. And then once I started my training, it was all physical training. So December was like a lot of road riding, a lot of road miles. Because, you know, again, you can't ride mountain bikes. It's too wet. And maybe that's just the season. So yeah, once it started to dry up, like towards the end of Jan, then I could get on the downhill bike and actually get to the top, do some shuttle runs. So it forced me to take a break. And I think you're right. I think that gave me this like really solid break. So once I got into the season, I was really fresh, you know.
Mentally.
And you know, we don't talk, where I'm from in South Africa, there is no real downhill scene. And all the media is all really based around marathon and cross country. There's nothing about downhill. So like you get away from everything. You know, people in Europe, they're still in the scene. They're still, you know, people talking about downhill and, you know, always a downhill. I've got no one, you know, and in Pietermaritzburg, like all my friends do not ride. I mean, these guys are smokers and drinkers and play the odd round at golf. I mean, they're not they're not athletes.
Well, if drinking was a sport, which they feel it is.
So to me, it was like a complete break. But in saying that, they all got e-bikes in lockdown. And that was a fun period because for probably the first time in my career, my like close friends were now part of my training regime. instead of them corrupting me, they were kind of adding some value, which of course they add a lot of value, but like in terms of my training and everything else, they probably take away quite a bit of value. So that was cool. I had so much fun. I think I did I want to say I did close on 800 kilometers on my e-bike in lockdown.